Few videos that we've been looking at patterns and sequences. We've mostly been looking at number sequences, and we've looked at numbers that have been increasing. Maybe they've been increasing by 2 or 3 or 4, or they've been multiplied by 2 or 3 and 4, and the number line each number has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Or the numbers have gotten smaller. Maybe it's started at 100 and then the next number is 90, the next number is 80, then 70, etc. Now we're going to come back and we're going to look at patterns. And we're going to look at patterns that are like shapes and colors. Okay, the first one here is to do with colors. And in particular, we are going to be looking at repeating patterns. So these patterns aren't going to be changing constantly. They will change, and then repeat. What I mean by that is, if we have a look here, okay, we can see that green is the first, then pink is the second, blue third, and yellow fourth. And then we go back to green, and then back to pink, and then back to blue, and then back to yellow. And it keeps going like that, okay? So it repeats, okay? The colors repeat in fours. So you can see there's 4 colors, and they're in the same order each time, but they keep repeating. So green, pink, blue, yellow, green, pink, blue, yellow, green, pink, blue, yellow. Okay, so these are repeating patterns. And because we know that they are repeating like this, if you told me that what color would be the 15th pattern, I would be able to tell you what color that is without having to write it all out. And that's what we're going to do today. That's what I'm going to explain to you today. Because you've got to remember that even though this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and the next one would be the 10th. So after green comes pink. So pink would be the 10th. Okay? And the 11th would be blue. And the 12th would be yellow. And then the 13th would be green. So the pattern continues repeating. But as we can see here, this is the first term, second, third, fourth term, fifth term, sixth, seventh term, eighth term, and it continues on, okay? But the pattern repeats. And I'm going to show you how you can figure out what the 27th term would be, or what the 35th term would be. So what I'll do is I'll just make that disappear and we'll have a look at this one here, okay? Here we have another pattern, and it's letters. A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. Okay? Now this is the first, this is the second, this is the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11th term, okay? So it continues on and on and on, the same pattern. But in, like, if we had to split these up, so how often does the pattern repeat? Well, let's have a look. There's A, there's B, there's C, there's D, there's E. Then it goes back to A. So the pattern is 5 letters, and then the same 5 letters again, and the same 5 letters again. So it repeats in 5s. Do you see how that is? Because we have the 5 letters here, and then we have the next lot of 5. Now they're the same. This A is the same as this A, but this A is the first term because it comes first, and this A is the 6th term. So the first question is, what's the 25th letter? Okay, well, I know that they repeat in 5s, okay? So this would be 5, and then this is the next 5, and then the next 5 would be here, wouldn't it? The next one would be B, and then C, and then D, and then E. So that would be 12, 13, 14, 15. Now look at the E's, okay? E is at 5, isn't it? And then this E here is at 10, and this E here is at 15. So the next E would be at 20, right? And then the E after that would be at 25. So what is the 25th letter? It would be E. Okay. Another way to figure that out is take the number of letters that are repeating. So there's 5 letters repeating. And you divide 25 by 5. Okay. And that will give you 5. Okay. So you can see that the 5th letter, this would be the 5th letter, which is E. Now, here's a little bit more difficult one. What is the 43rd letter? Okay, this is a little bit different. 43rd letter. Now, what we do here is we divide 5 into this, okay? So 5 goes into, does it go into 43? No, it doesn't. So what number would 5 go into here? It would go into 40, wouldn't it? So 5 would go into 40, okay? And there'd be 3 left over. Because we're moving in multiples of 5, every time we go, like say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, every time we go in 5s, I know that the 5th here letter is E. The 10th letter will also be E. This will be E as well. This will be E as well. This will be E. This will be E. This will be E. And this will be E as well. So if the 40th, okay, term is E, well then the 41st term would be A, because A comes after E. We can see A comes after E. So that would be the 41st, 42nd, and 43rd. See, 43. So the 43rd letter is C. What is the 61st letter? Well, if we continue on in multiples, say 45, 50, 55, and 60, this would be E, this would be E, this would be E, this would be E, and they want the 61st letter. So the 61st letter, well, the 60th is E. So the next one after E is A. So the 61st letter must be A. So that's question 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's get rid of this for a sec. Now, here's where I want you to have a go by yourself, okay? There are 6 questions here, and I want you to see how many you can do. And then you can press play, because I'm going to go through these questions now. But I want you to try and do them by yourself first and see if you can figure out. So you have a look at this repeating pattern of shapes. The first is a square, circle, triangle, rectangle, okay? So have a look and then try these questions yourself, and then you can press play and see how you get on, okay? And if you're stuck, you can press play and you can see how I explain it. Okay, so number 1, all right? What are the next 2 shapes? Okay, well, let's clump them into how many times they repeat. So we have square, circle, triangle, rectangle, and then it's square again. So you can see that the pattern is 4 shapes, and then it's another 4 shapes, correct? So we can have 4 and then 4, and they want to know what the next 2 are. Well, we're starting a new 4, aren't we? So the next one would be the square, and then the one after that would be the circle. So down here we need to write square and circle. All right, done. Number 2, list the positions of the first 3 circles. Is there a pattern? Okay, the first 3 circles. So this is a circle here, so that's the first circle, okay? And that's at 2, that's at the second. And we'll just write above all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so the first circle is at 2. Okay, the first circle is at 2. So the first circle is at 2, and then the next circle is at 6, and the next circle is at 10. So what would be the pattern there? Well, if we look at the difference between these, we can see if we plus 4 here gives us 6, plus 4 here gives us 10. So the pattern must be plus 4. The pattern is plus 4. Is plus 4. Okay, done. Which shape forms the pattern 3 and 7? Which shape forms the pattern 3 and 7? So 3, that is a triangle, and 7 is a triangle. So the answer is a triangle. Triangle. Because a triangle is at 3 and it's also at 7. Now, what is the 21st shape? Okay. So we are going up in 4s, aren't we? The pattern is repeating every 4 shapes. So let's have a look. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Okay. So the 4th shape is a rectangle, and the 8th shape is a rectangle, we can see here. So the 12th shape is also a rectangle, the 16th shape is a rectangle, and the 20th shape is a rectangle. So what's the 21st? The 21st comes after the 20th. So what comes after a rectangle? It's a square. A square. Done. We did this one as well. We've done that one. So what is the 37th shape? Okay, let's continue counting in 4s. 24, 28, 32, and the next one is 36. Okay, again, this is a rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. The 36th would also be a rectangle. So the 37th is after 36. So it must be a square again. All right, and we've done that. So if the 61st shape is a square, what is the 62nd shape? So we don't need to use, we don't need to count in 4s here, because what they're telling us is the 61st shape is a square. What's the 62nd? 62nd, 62 comes after 61. So what comes after a square? It's a circle. Circle. And there are all our answers done. So what I want you to do is by yourselves, I want you to have a go at this. Okay, you have to pause the video and try and answer these questions by yourself, and that's today's work. Okay, and tomorrow we will go through this at the start of the video tomorrow.